They're two different applications. Starship is more of an enterprise relating shipping solution, where ShipGear is more of a middleware solution between the UPS and FedEx carriers and Sage 100 ERP. We have Basis with us. Basis is a longtime Sage 100 ERP reseller, and they are a partial owner of the JobOps manufacturing solution that you'll see today. They really focus on manufacturing solutions to help companies be more productive and profitable. JDB Solutions Group focuses strictly in manufacturing automation. So they work with the JobOps solution to enhance the barcode scanning technology and the work order management. So here's a workflow for what we'll be showing you today. We're going to show you how a customer service person or a salesperson takes an order, and they can either take an order through like a CRM system or Sage 100 ERP. So they take the order, and the order goes to JobOps. The order goes to JDB Solutions Group. The JobOps scan and processes the work tickets and manages all the information on the shop floor. And then that information goes back into Sage 100 ERP, into Starship for shipping automation, and then back into Sage 100 ERP to populate all the shipping information. In Starship, all of the information goes into calculating who should we ship through based on all your rules and the most optimum shipment details. And then so that information goes back into Sage 100 ERP to populate all the shipment data. So with that said, I'm going to go ahead and pass it over to Pat to start it off with JobOps. Thank you so much, Pat.
Okay, my name is Pat Anson. I'm with Basis. I've been here for a while and been doing JobOps for many, many years. What we're going to show you today is how the manufacturing process works utilizing JobOps. JobOps itself was designed solely, it doesn't work anywhere else other than within Sage 100. So it was designed to work specifically with Sage. So what I'm going to do basically is just walk you through Adrian's list there. We're going to start with a sales order. And perhaps it's a quote. Again, we could be coming in through this same screen using CRM if we wanted to. We'll just grab the next order number. We're going to go into creating a quote. If the customer is already on within our database, we can select a customer number. The next thing that pops up is work ticket classes. So what JobOps offers you is different types of work tickets. So some could be make to order, some could be just right out of stock, make to stock. We have service calls, installation, maintenance. JobOps also has a field service piece that allows you to enter the order through the sales order module. For this particular instance, we're going to use the make to order. Obviously, we don't have a customer PO number yet because we're basically in the quoting stage. Again, it pulls over the demographics just like your standard Sage 100 would do. I'll go into the lines field and we'll just grab a part. So there's a new checkbox here. The CSYS 0300 is a make item. So the WT basically turns on the work ticket JobOps formula. So we're going to create one. By default, there's a price already in the system for that particular part. And as I enter through it like you would your normal order, I get to the end and it asks me if I want to create a work ticket or work order. In JobOps, we call them work tickets, from a template. So obviously we have a means of creating templates for specific types of items. In this particular case, I'm going to say no. And so I want to show you the options that you have. You can create one as you design this, step by step with bill of materials or without bill of materials, with item, with labor, and what have you. I can grab from my template, and I'll do a lookup on the templates that are in the system. So there is a template in there for this particular part. Again, I don't have to use template. I have other other options. Perhaps I am already making this for someone else. I can go into Open Work Ticket and find that part that I'm making for someone else, in this case, Jones Business Systems, and grab that. And it will pull over all the information relative to that particular work ticket. Additionally, I can pull from a history. If I made this for them prior, I can go into the history. And what's slick about the history is once I pull up, I can pull that work ticket that we made in history, and instead of using my budget numbers, I can use my actual costs, which is a huge benefit. So there's no guessing there. We know exactly what it's going to take to build this. So those are my different options. I also have one other option called the configuration. So if I want to build this from scratch, we have a configurator within the system. It's called a product configurator, and I can select servers, custom servers. So by doing that, I'm going to go ahead and accept that, and I'm actually going to walk you through a configuration. So this configuration is set up. So I'm going to select my model, which was the 0300. As you see, each one of these can have a bitmap associated with it. Do I want, right up here are the instructions. Does the customer want additional memory? Yes or no? And if so, how much? You can tell this is dated material. How much do they want? Do they want an additional drive? There's a help button. Now, as we go through this, all these questions are all the information relative to the answers to these questions are being collected. So if I go down to my show text, my model number, my additional memory, and it's building what's called a smart part number. So when we're all done, we're going to have a smart part number that after a while, anyone within your organization is going to know exactly what it took to build that particular part. So I'll move on to the next. Is there optional software to be installed? Yes or no? And which software am I adding? And I'll go to next. Now what it's done is, if you recall, we started with $3,500, but at this point it's taken all those items that I selected, it's taking the additional RAM, the additional hard drives, all that additional information, and it's got a price component in here where it's actually building the price at the same time that it's building the work ticket. So I'll show you the text. Again, there's the final work ticket, the smart part number that it's created. I can go into results. This may not mean anything to you, but this is what, for each one of these features, there's information relative to what it takes to build this particular part. I can actually, right from here, generate a work ticket. You'll also see that based on the workflow that I already have, or the queue that I already have in my manufacturing process, that if I quote this and they're ready to go, this is going to look at my workflow, look at my capacity, and tell me what my capable to promise is. So if I take this right now, it's going to say the earliest that I can have this ready based on my workflow is March 3rd. So I'm going to take that and use that March 3rd. Do I want to edit the work ticket? I'm going to say yes, because we're going to take a look at, this is just your header step. I'm going to hit accept and do a step recap. This is going to recap for me everything, all your steps, what your schedules were based on your start and stops, your estimated hours, as you'll see, based on the template that was built into the configurator, the costs associated with those particular operations. In this case, this is install configure operating system. And again, it's building all your costs. So at the end of the day, you can look down and you can see exactly what each one of these specific steps is costing you. Excuse me. Additionally, if I do step recap, I can actually go into the profit, because I'm looking at this and I'm quoting this. This is a quote. All right, there's my $8,000. My profit margin on this, or my profit percent, is 52. Okay, I think to get this job, we need to reduce that a little bit. 45 is the lowest I can go, so I'm going to go with 50. I'm not going to give it away. You can also utilize a rounding factor, which in this case I won't do. So I can go hit proceed. It's going to recalculate my numbers for me. It's going to look at the revenue. It's going to now show me my profit percentage of 50%. So that's a great starting point. At this point, I can also take you into each one of the different steps on this work ticket, and you'll see based on my configuration, my first step are these components. These components were required for this particular step, and the number of components that are required. It also has a labor, direct cost. You can actually create purchase orders that go directly into the work ticket. A status, so that it'll always calculate anytime anybody does something new, it'll show you the status of it, the summary, etc. for each step, as well as the entire work ticket. Now, if there's multiple parts on a sales order, you can also go to the order summary, and that will show you the entire sales order and where you stand on that. So I'll close that up, and by default, it's when you close that up, it's going to show you all the components so that you can visually see or verify that these are all the components that you need to build this particular part. Obviously, when you put the quote together, you're not going to show these items, so we've got a little button, over here that we click on, and we turn that off. So you'll see that there's still 2 items on here that are showing, and the reason they're showing is these are add-ons. The additional component to build that we're building, the System 0300, came with standards. If you wanted additional memory, that's extra. So they bought 2 of them at $440 a piece, and so on. So those show up because you want those to show on your sales order. So at this point, I can just print my order, shoot it off to the client or the customer or the prospect, and go from there. Now, as all quotes go, they're immediately sold. So we're going to go ahead and turn that particular order into, or that quote into an order. Find it for it. Wrong one. Now print the sales order. We can print picking sheets. So a lot of these, what you'll see is these are barcoded picking sheets. You can, as you all know, Sage comes with Crystal embedded in it. And you'll see that there's a job ops button. So there may be particular specifics within job ops that you want to utilize on this picking sheet. So it says skip purchase items. I want to exclude all purchase items. I want to print used purchased items, required purchase items, etc. So there's a lot of options within that. So job ops adds those particular features. So at this point, you would just print your pick sheet. And what Joe's going to show you is he's got barcoding for each of these that his system, that his scanners will read into the system. I'm not going to print shipping labels at this point. All right, I've created an order. It's now an order. I want to go to Job Ops and go to my main folder. And actually, I put a shortcut up here. We have a program tool within the system called the Component Exception Manager. This is like a mini MRP within the system. I can run this based on a work ticket. I can run it based on inventory items. I can run it, if you have the MRP module, you can integrate the MRP if you're forecasting out a month. And you can set a cutoff date. So in this particular case, I'm not going to use the MRP, but you also see you can include lead times. So as I generate this work file, and that's all it is a temporary work file, it then pulls me in, and you'll see I have 2 categories for these particular for this particular run. I can go to my edit purchased items. I can go up here and show all. So for those of you that have never seen this before, this is full visibility on what your requirements are for items to buy. On the initial column here is item codes. Those are the particular parts. There's the warehouses, etc. who your primary vendor is, and what you have to buy. You'll also see that it pulls over information from your inventory module and your purchase order module. Quantity on hand, quantity already on a PO, what your stock demand is, if some of your components might be, may require stock items for these particular work tickets, MRP demand, etc. So as an illustration, I'll grab just this monitor board 3400. I'm going to take a look at that, and this is going to show me exactly what I have allocated. So I need this item for all of these particular work tickets. Additionally, right from here, if I want more time-sensitive information, I can click right on the inventory button, and it's going to show me where each one of these, I have 8 on hand, and I'm utilizing each one, these quantities for these particular work tickets and steps and lines. So the way this reads is it's sales order number, line number, and then step within that particular line. So this shows you that we need 27, and that's why it's recommending that we purchase that. Because it also has a minimum, it also looks at minimum stock levels, it looks at reorder points, it looks at all those. So right from this field, I can actually put everything else on hold and let's get these things ordered right away. I can create a new purchase order. If I already have one that's waiting, I can create or add it, or I can add to one and put it on hold until we're ready to do all of our purchasing. So in this particular instance, I'm going to just go ahead and order it. Now, additionally, let's say, for instance, this multi-sync monitor is a purchase item, but you don't have time. You need this made right away. So we're going to put these on hold. We need to take this item. We have the ability over in our side machine shop to make this particular item. So we're going to move that over to makes, and it's going to verify that you're sure you want to move this to makes, and the answer is yes. So what it did is it took it out of our purchase, and now it's over in the makes. So here's my edit manufactured items. I can go right into here and show all, and you'll see that now it's moved over to my makes. So on top of just your purchasing, you also have the ability to drill down and look at what needs to be made for production purposes. I have the same ability here to put everything on hold. And let's say I'm going to make this particular item, 32 of them I can create right from here, create a work ticket. It simplifies the whole process. It streamlines everything, and everything is all in one place. So now that I've created a purchase order, I can go right into purchase order entry and take a look, and that PO should already be there. What's the date I have on this? Which date it is? So there's my PO on there. And so what you're also going to see is if it's made for a specific, if it's made for a specific work ticket, you'll see as I scroll down here, these are going to inventory. But if it's made for a specific work ticket, you'll see that work ticket number related to that. So if I'm ordering 32 of these and 2 of them are for a work ticket, it will in fact put 2 of these items on the PO. One will be linked to the work tickets. One will go right to inventory. And the way that we keep the vendor not confused is we use crystal reports and just combine the 2. I'll jump right into scheduling now. We've got those. So JobApps has multiple modules within it. I'm going to jump to scheduling. I'm going to jump right to the scheduling control hub. And as of today, I want to look at a graphical scheduler. I've got activity codes which are relevant to, or I should say compatible with, the work order operation, work centers and operation codes. We've combined those into what's called an activity code. So I can run this scheduling hub based on activity codes, but typically, you know, your work centers, let's say there's a scheduling group. So I also have a scheduling group here. So I can grab a scheduling group and I can accept it, And now it's going to show me anything that I have set up. These two particular operation codes are set up for a scheduling group. I don't have much here, so let me go back and go into systems. So you'll also see I've got 1, 2, 3, you got 7 days here showing a full week going forward. I'm only showing business days. You'll see that also that there's an issue with this particular one because it's got a highlight on it. The border, and I can go right to exceptions and look at this particular order and look up here, capacity hours, what my scheduled hours are, what my required hours, etc. It pulls all the information from this particular block up into the top category so that you can read, or the panel, so that you can read exactly what's what. Your color codes are based over here. If you jump over into my options, you set these up however you want them to be. If you want to show weekends, we can do that, prompt you for a move, etc. So right from here, I can also go into create a what if. So I'm in trouble here. What if I move this? Is it possible for me to move this to next Tuesday? And it is, and I still have the same issue. So it gives you the what if capabilities. So if I exit from here, it's going to ask me if my move did me any good. I'm going to say no, and it'll take me right back. So the other thing I'll show you is, if you want, from this view, you can look at not just a view across and drill down into the work ticket. You can drill it down right into the day. I can look at Thursday, and I can look at all my operation codes and what I have scheduled for Thursday. I can jump back out, and instead of just looking at Thursday, I want to look at all the jobs I have for that for that particular activity code. So I can scroll down, and I'll see that that's the only item that I have for an activity code for that particular item. And again, I can drill into the detail, look at each one of these particular steps, see how long it takes, look at the scheduling, etc. From right here, I can edit my schedule, I can edit hours. If I only had 2 hours and we have to add a few hours to that, we can do that right here, and then we can run scheduling from here. Additionally, JobOps has numerous reports. As you create your jobs, you have the ability to also run batch scheduling. So you can reschedule previous work tickets. You can schedule forward. You can schedule specific work tickets. You can give yourself cushions. There's maximum flexibility here. Scheduling groups. If there's only one particular scheduling group that you want to concentrate on, you have that ability right here as well. The other thing that they put together is, like all the other modules, we have what's called Explorer views. And so from this Explorer view, you have the ability to go into these different views, such as scheduling. I can go into each one of these, and you'll see a production start and due date. And so let's say I want to take a look at my workload based on production start date. I can drag it up here and scroll back. These don't have any scheduled start dates. So starting on March 5th, this is what I have scheduled to go March 5th, and so on. So there's a lot of flexibility in this particular program. They've taken all the databases and put everything right at your fingertips. They also have what's called a time tracker data entry view, which I won't show you because Joe's got a solution for that that's even better than the out of the box based on his what he's got. We also have an open work tickets view. So at any point in time, I can take a look at all of my work tickets. These are what I have on the floor. I can take a look at, these are the steps, and I can look immediately and see where do I stand against budget. For whether it's labor budget or whether it's material budget. I know exactly where I stand. And as each one of these steps is completed, the status code would change. So in this particular instance, this first step has a machine down and it's on hold. So we know what the issue is with that. If we look at one of these other manufacturing work tickets, you'll also see the same information, production due activity codes, due dates, etc., and your budgets and where you stand on budgets and where you stand on time. Again, just like everything else, you can mix and match and drop, do all your sorting up in your grid. From there, I think I'm going to hand that off to Joe.
Woohoo! All right, so I'm Joe. I'll be your tour guide for the next 15 or 20 minutes. Just kidding. And we're going to go over the shop floor data collection side of things. And what this is basically after you generate your orders, create your orders, or work tickets, whatever the case may be, whether they're service tickets, inside the building, make the stock, make the order, field service, dispatch, whatever, we go ahead and we start tracking them. Now we can load this software on pretty much anything you want. As you can see, we are on a desktop client. We are not in Mass. We sit just outside of Mass, but we mirror directly, and we have our own unattended data collector, so there's seamless integration and mirroring back and forth, so there's no downtime or double entry or anything. We can load this up on pretty much anything you want to do. We can load it up on Apple clients. We have an Apple version, so if it's iPhone or iPad, we can be capturing job ops information either in the field or service install crews or whatever the case may be. We have an Android version coming out here very soon, so keep your eyes peeled on that. We also have the ability of loading this on other types of devices like touch screens or tablets, right? Something like this out on the floor, capturing something, mounting it to a wall, keeping PCs and keeping it simple for people, right? So we can be doing stuff like that. Or we can be running them on ruggedized mobile devices, right? Everybody's seen a lot of these. Scanner guns, you walk around the floor, or any hybrid or mixed match of either one of them. So again, we load the software while it makes sense. We have some barcoded travelers that we print out. We can get really funky with some barcoded travelers like this here, where we can barcode them, have picture steps, right, stuff like that. We have other barcoded travelers where they actually have CAD diagrams, stuff like what you're doing here. So what we do basically is we can print out whatever makes sense. Now I'm going to be using one like this for demo purposes. The reason why we do something like this is we can track steps, we can track material. We also have statuses, logistics, and if it's field service or if you have a service ticket, you could do that as well. So again, loading it up, getting it out, getting it on a device that you can use and collect and track, off you go. From the floor or remote capability, you have the ability of issuing material, right? If you want more dynamic abilities for your material, I want to issue it as I'm using it on the floor, or I want to do something like a pick and pack or a pick and stage, where I issue my material to a bin or a location or a tote, or move it into a staging area for manufacturing. We can be doing that for material issue. We still do have backflush capabilities if you want to do that as well, or issuing material dynamically. We can track labor on the floor, right? So the whole getting the information back into the system. I want to know where my job is. I want to know who's working on it. Where is it in the building? What position and time is it in? Do I know that? We could track productive labor, which is actually labor on a job. We could track a non-productive labor, like if you want the gaps in between jobs, training, setup, cleaning, stuff like that. We can track stuff, that type of labor as well. And there is a time card system, which is for payroll, with a complete employee scheduling module and everything else to offset and keep that whole flow going. And we can bring the payroll module back into Job Ops as well. Job Ops does have the payroll entry module for payroll, where you can do overtime, rounding, and all that kind of stuff. And we feed all of Job Ops seamlessly back into the picture. When your product's done, you're done tracking it, you're done issuing it, whatever the case may be, you can do make the stock closing entries, which is putting your sub-assemblies or make the stock work tickets into inventory, and you can do that right from the floor. Your invoice, your make-to-order invoices or your service tickets either will be done in invoice data entry or field service invoice billing selection, which obviously would make more sense in that case, but you could do make the stock sub-assemblies and that type of work ticket closing here on the floor. We have a QC module, and we're going to get into this in more detail. I'm giving you the quick overview. We can capture QC information on the floor. Not just QC, but maybe just any information you want to track on the floor. The spreadsheets, the Access databases just aren't cutting the mustard, right? So you want to be able to do that. And then we have live dashboards. Live dashboards can show you what's going on. Where's the job? What's the status? Did I issue material? Are there problems? Do I have anything I can ship, right? Getting ready for Starship, stuff like that. Coming real soon, we're having nesting modules for those of you that integrate with CAD programs, nesting programs, third-party design programs that create bills of materials of the routes or the nests. We have integration features where we can actually pull all that information in job ops. We can grab the bill, create the route, create the work ticket, populate it for you. So if you have any situations like that, we can handle that as well. Now, functionally, to show you what it looks like, it's very simple. We're going to scan some stuff. If I want to issue some material, it's very simple. Scan my work ticket, scan my item, enter a quantity, hit accept. It's that simple. So when people say, well, we can't do this on the floor, it takes too long or it's too complicated, obviously we can say, no, it's not. It makes it very simple, right? So I'm scanning along, off I go. If I make a mistake, it tells you you made a mistake. If you try to issue too much, or if you issue something that's not on a work ticket, it's going to go, hey, it's not there. So for the people, the people that have problems on the floor, issuing the wrong material, substitution items, not grabbing the wrong thing, want to get real, again, more control of your inventory, we will be able to catch it, allow it, or not allow it, okay? We can put material back in. We have dashboards. We can auto-issue. Auto-issue says, I want to auto-issue or front flush or do a pick, or I want to auto-issue everything from one step at a time or something to that effect. Again, giving you more tools to allow you to be able to get your inventory under control. Labor tracking. Tracking labor, very simple. I scan my badge, I scan my work ticket, I hit accept. It's that simple, right? Badge, work ticket. So tracking on the labor. Now there's a bunch of other fields on the screen that you can see as we're tracking in. We could be changing activity codes on the fly. Why would we want to change activity? Maybe we have a rework, or we're doing first pass, second pass, third pass runs, or we're in a situation where we want to track the device or the machine, right? We're literally tracking it. Not only do I want to know when, where, and who did it, but what machine or tool did we run it on. So we give you the ability of doing that. We can substitute our departments for employees if you want. So if you want good departmental labor tracking, stuff like that. Capturing, we can batch labor. We can group jobs together, dilute labor across multiple work tickets. We actually have 4 dilution methods that you can pick and choose if you really want to get finite on your labor tracking, okay? We have the ability of doing a direct labor, where if I just say somebody forgot to track on a job and I just want to put time on a job, I can actually direct enter labor right to a work ticket on the fly if I want to. Tracking out is very simple. It's kind of like deja vu. I'm coming out later on. Again, if I want to change my department or activity code, I now can change statuses. I can say things are completed, right? Or done, or how many pieces have been completed, or maybe we've got a problem with the job, right? And I want to put a job on a screeching halt. How many people have problems where the job just sits there and says, oh yeah, we have a design problem that's been there 3 days, nobody paid attention to it, right? Well, we want to put it on hold, or something like that, where it immediately tells or alerts somebody that we have these problems. Statusing these jobs, stuff like that. So again, tracking your labor in and out. Now, labor is also one way of positioning a job by tracking in and out of it. Another way would be just doing a status change. Status is, I don't want to track labor on it, I just want to put the job on a halt, right? So I can go ahead, I can scan my work ticket, and again, I can put it on hold or production or QC or whatever the case may be. We also have the ability now of tracking outside processing. So not just in the building, but out of the building. I might want to track labor as preparatory work for tracking it out for an outside process. Or maybe I want to status that job out of the building for outside processing, plating, trading, machining, painting, powder coating. Who knows, right? If you send a job outside the building and you want to know when you send it out, when you brought it back, how many pieces, we can have it out to subcontracting or out to an outside process. Not only can I send it out, but I can say how many pieces went out and for what process or what vendor if I want to, right? So we can get very informative on the job going out. Then we also have the ability of statusing it back in. So what's nice is, what do we have here? I know when it went out. I have a dashboard, which I'll show you here very quickly, that I can see it when it went out. I can tell when it came back in. I have good information to know where my jobs are. I can have turnaround or meantime availability reports. I can judge and start grading my vendors and know where all my jobs are, where they want to be. So as you can see, from a status standpoint, it's not just internal, but it could be for outside processing as well. Putting in stock entries, closing items, putting them back in. I'm done with the job. I'm done building the component, or I'm creating 100 widgets and I want to put 50 into inventory. We could do partial completions or partial make to stocks. Very simple. We pick a work ticket. We can complete it. We can partially complete it if we want to. We can also print labels. So not only am I doing a make to stock closing or closing product, finished goods in inventory, I could be printing labels, right? Tagging that product immediately on the floor so it can go on the shelf or go into another subassembly, or maybe have to go into a shipping area or a package of prep or something to that effect. Again, giving good documentation, labeling, and knowing where my product is. So we could be doing closing. So again, fulfilling the whole cycle of your manufacturing floor. The dashboards, big dashboards, right? We can see what's going on. I can see where my material is, where my labor is, right? There's where my job is. I can see where's the job, who's working on it. Is it open? Is it been done worked on, right? How many pieces? We even give you total time, the status, where it is, any comments, right, for the positioning, out to subcontracting. These are live dashboards that you can stand here and watch what's going on. So I know where the job is, not just tracking it, right? I've got this awesome real-time information I'm grabbing, but I want to be able to see it. I want to know where it is. I want to have this dashboard to where I can say, hey, where's Joe working? Where's this job? Is it ready to be shipped, right? Or can we get any of these out today? Or if we have a problem, the colors are review rules. You know, so what we're doing is not only can we show you what's going on, but we can alert you to possible problems. If the job's exceeded budget, if we're not tracked out, if users have overlapping times, they're not tracked out of one job before they start another, or big gaps. A lot of times people want to keep track of the big gaps in between the jobs. So again, these colors are giving you good abilities. Again, we have the ability of entering direct labor. Maybe you're realizing somebody forgot to track, or you got a service guy that needs you to enter some time in real quick or something, allowing and affording that through a review screen. Material issues, right? Again, watching it live on the floor. I can see what's going on the floor and watch my material. Red lines and blue lines. If I'm over issuing, if I issue something and I forget to distribute it, right? How many times do you get yourself in these positions where somebody forgot to put the lot or serial on it, or we didn't get the good valuation method procured on this one, or we issued more than what we had on hand and nobody caught it, or mass was off, right? So what we do is we change colors, different lines on here to bring attention to you immediately, not after the job is done or you're back flushing it or it's too late, but when you're working on the job and you're issuing material. Statusing, which we showed you, make the stocks, right? Being able to show you what we've done. How many pieces are ready to ship? How many times have we seen that, right? Do we have enough customer service people running around? So again, if we move the transaction out to the floor, we've got good tools and abilities to see it. And if that's not cool enough, we have a thing called the shop floor monitoring screen. The shop floor monitor is a live dashboard, kind of like your Burger King screen, right? When you go to the drive-thru, you take your order, pops up. When you drive away, it disappears. Well, could you imagine that on your shop floor? Having a big 50, 60-inch flat panel standing out there where you could see what you are currently live and working on, right? When you start a job, it pops up on the screen. Every 60 seconds, it refreshes. I can see who's working on what the parent items are being made, when it's due, how many we're supposed to be making, right? Or maybe we want to know what's coming down the line in front of us. What's coming next? We can filter on orders, work tickets, activity codes, positions, statuses, right? Stuff like that. Again, being informed so our people can see what we're doing. And here's another big one, not just from a labor, but a status. Remember these subcontracting pieces, these jobs in and out the door? Or maybe I'm in a QC department or the shipping department looking for product. How many people go, shipping just stands there and waits, right? We want to be proactive. We want to know when it's done. We want our shippers to go get the job. Well, they could have a monitor. They could be filtering on what's been shipped. We have outside processing people filtering on jobs that went out of the building. We have QC people standing here waiting for a hold or a QC hold or engineering review status, right? Again, live information, not after the fact and chasing yourself around a building. So again, affording yourself awesome tools to fulfill that niche to job ops, making job ops that complete ERP package, not just from an entry and function standpoint, but from the shop floor as well. Okay? And the last piece, because I have a couple more minutes left, or seconds I should say, is the QC part. QC is huge. Oh, see that? It just told me to shut up, so I'm not listening. So the QC module, right? So we can capture information on the floor. This could be mission critical. Lot serial, pass-fail information, rework information, defect codes. For those of you that are maybe aerospace, food, electronic, technically reasoned people that need maybe enhanced serial or a lot tracking where you got to track lots or serial numbers through the manufacturing process with specific QC or data integration permissions, right? We have that ability. Job ops, we've added recently enhanced serial lot tracking where you can assign finished goods serial numbers in work ticket entry and literally track it all the way through production. So again, keeping track of that and being able to QC. We could even say we QC pass fail. We can allow you to make the stocks or not make the stocks, or put a job on a screeching halt because it's in QC fail position status, right? Again, keeping track and control of your shop floor, capturing information. And for those of you that don't know, these screens are completely customizable. We can make it look any way you want. So basically what it is tracking it, collecting it, viewing it, watching it, making sure our people are doing what they're doing, and seamlessly flowing it right back into Sage, right through a data collector without you ever have to enter anything twice in the system. So for that, I'm going to pass it over to Caroline to ship that part that I just made out.
Thanks, Joe. It's Caroline over at V Technologies. I'm going to be showing you the shipping process. Joe, you set me up pretty good there. So once you've created your finished goods with the help of Job Ops and JOScan, you're ready to ship them out. And Starship does have some special logic for it looks for Job Ops work tickets. And if it finds them, it will require that you're shipping against the invoice document to make sure that your items have been properly allocated. If a Job Ops order is found, Starship will include regular items as well as Job Op parent items. The child items will not be included in the shipping part of it. So let's just go ahead and process a shipment here. Now you'll notice I'm on the invoice document. I do have the enhancement here to ship the invoice document using my order number. I'm going to go ahead and bring that into Starship, and you're going to see that in my left-hand pane here is kind of a header-level view of the information on the shipment, how my ship via was translated, the sender as well as the recipient. In my packaging view down here, I can expand all these and see the items that we're going to be shipping. In this particular case, I do have my item to box level detail because it's coming from those packaging tables inside of Sage. So if you are using a scanning solution like Scanco or ScanForce, all that information will be brought into Starship and you'll see item to box level detail. So let me just click on this custom box here. I did want to show you that we do have the ability in Starship to for you to define your specific packaging or to utilize the carrier's flat rate boxes. And if I click on a furniture box here, you'll see that the dimensions are coming in. And you'll also see here now that my build weight for this particular item is actually going to be a lot more than the actual one. So this is where dim weight comes into play. There were some major changes with UPS and FedEx carriers related to dim weight. So this is a great way to have make sure that you're getting the right build weight coming on your shipments. The other thing I want to mention is that in the next release of Starship, which is coming out next week actually, we will have the ability for you to connect into dim weight scales. The first iteration of the scale interface is going to support the Cubiscan scales, which will allow you to put your package on the scale, and Starship will not only read in the weight, but we will also read in the dimensions for you to help automate that process. Now, this package is going to Canada, so it's an international shipment. I just want to quickly drill into this particular item here and just show you really quick that we will associate the Schedule B or the harmonized code and all the additional detail that is required to ship this package internationally so that you don't have to manually enter that information in the shipping area. I can do a rate shop here, and Starship will rate this particular shipment against all the carriers that I have loaded in my system. So that can be a combination of both parcel and freight carriers, include UPS, FedEx, Post Office. And you'll see now that I'm getting a combination of like Conway, UPS Standard to Canada. Now, this particular UPS Worldwide Express here was translated from the ship via. I could change that if I wanted to. Maybe it can get there a little bit later on Friday and I can save some money going that way. So I can do this manually. I can also have Starship determine the carrier and service that's selected here based on what we call ship via rules. So if you want to get it there by a certain date in the least expensive way possible, you can have Starship automatically select this for you. Now, if I do a ship in process here, Starship will print the barcoded shipping labels for me, and it'll also update Sage in real time. This is what we call our smart label. It's a combination of the shipping label plus the packing list. You can also print the shipping label to thermal label printer, where it can print the shipping label and then the packing list will come out as a second label. Or you can just print the shipping label. You have some options there. So here are my 3 boxes that were brought in from that particular invoice. And also Starship will generate the international documents. So here's my shipper letter of instruction as well as my commercial invoice. Starship also has several other international documents that come standard with the application. So now you're ready to process your next shipment. I wanted to just show you a couple other features that we have in Starship that come standard with the Starship application. One is the email notification. So if you want to set Starship up to email your customers directly and modify the email template so it has your look and feel, you can do that. So here is the email that came out as a result of that shipment that we just processed. So you'll see here that in the subject you can put things like variable fields like the PO number. In here I have the PO number, I put the order number, and then of course we have the tracking information with the line item detail. So this is going to give your customer a lot more detail than what they would get if they were just using maybe a carrier supplied email. It also allows you to brand it, to send people maybe back to your shopping cart to order more, maybe put a little incentive there to place a second order. And then the other component that you get with Starship is the dashboard. This is going to be just a visual of all the shipping data, as well as ability to get reports. Typically, this is going to be used maybe by people in your front office or by management, somebody who doesn't necessarily want the Starship shipping client installed, but wants to have access to data. So you can get shipment history from here. You can drill into any one of these shipments to get additional detail and see different KPIs from here and run reports. This is where you can run the late deliveries report, which will basically allow you to compare the guaranteed delivery date and time to the actual one and report any discrepancies so that you can get those refunds. I'm just going to go back into that Sage order and check to see how this information got updated from a shipping perspective. So I'm going to go into shipping data entry so that we can, just one way to view this tracking information here. So here are my 3 boxes that we shipped with the weights the freight amount. And then also the freight here is going to be updated automatically for you. This freight amount can also include what we call freight rules, which is additional rules logic that allows you to define how and when the freight gets updated. The rules can be based on parameters on the Sage order or invoice, things like order total, customer type. So you can have different freight charges going back for different customers or in different situations. Okay, I think that's all we had on the Starship side of things, so I'm going to pass it back over to Adrian.
So the order was taken by the customer service person or the salesperson. It went to Sage 100 ERP, and that can either happen through a CRM or just directly into Sage 100 ERP. And then it went to Job Ops to do the manufacturing part of the job, and then it goes into Joe Basaha's solution, the JDB Solutions Group JO Scan, and then it goes into Sage 100, then it flows into Starship for the shipping to make sure it adheres to all the shipping rules and making sure that you're picking the best carrier based on how fast you want your shipment to arrive or the cost associated with the shipment or a combination. And then it flows back into Sage 100 ERP to populate the tracking numbers and the email notifications to the clients. So as you can see, it's a fully integrated Sage 100 ERP integrated manufacturing solution. And I'm going to go ahead and show the contact information of all of the presenters. And with that, I just want to thank everybody for joining us today. I know that an hour isn't always the easiest to come by of your time, so we really appreciate you joining us today. And I'm going to go ahead and send the recording to everybody who attended and registered today, so you'll have a copy of the recording and all the contact information. So thanks again. Would Caroline, Joe, or Pat, would you like to close with any comments?
No, we're good. I just want to say thanks to everybody for taking the time out. And thanks, guys, for the presentation. That was good.
Likewise. Thank you, Adrian. We appreciate the media and everyone that took time out to watch Job Ops.
Thank you, everybody. Take care. Oh, thank you, Joe. All right. Thanks, everybody. Have a great day. Bye-bye.